Most of us think we know our neighborhoods. The streets we walk, the parks we visit, the buildings we pass by every day. Everything feels familiar, safe, and ordinary. But what if I told you that beneath that everyday normalcy, just beyond the surface, lurk hidden stories, some so dark, so disturbing, that they remain buried in whispers and forgotten records? I never thought I'd uncover such a terrifying secret right in my own backyard. But one night, curiosity led me down a path I can never unwalk. I've always been fascinated by mysteries, the kind that sit on the edges of reality, hiding in old newspapers and urban legends. So when I stumbled across an old map of my town with strange markings near an abandoned property just 2 blocks from my house, I knew I had to investigate. The place had been there for as long as I could remember, yet I had never given it much thought. Overgrown bushes curled around its rusting fence. The windows were boarded up, and the driveway was cracked and crumbling. People whispered about it. The occasional talk of ghostly figures seen in the upstairs window, of strange noises at night, but no one dared to look too closely. Until now, we think of our towns as familiar and safe, but every town has its buried stories. Those that are never spoken of outside of hushed voices and faded documents. We hear urban legends, dismiss old tales, and convince ourselves that the dark corners of our world don't really exist. But what if they do? What if the things we've ignored for years are actually hiding something we were never meant to uncover? As I stood before the iron gate of the abandoned house, flashlight in hand, I realized I was about to find out. Pushing open the rusted gate, I stepped onto the cracked pathway leading to the house. The air was thick and unmoving, as if time had frozen in place. My flashlight beam danced as to cross the rotting wood of the front door, its paint peeling like dead skin. I hesitated. The house had been condemned for years, yet there were footprints in the dust, fresh ones. Someone had been here. Taking a deep breath, I pushed the door open. Inside, the air was damp and stale. The wooden floor groaned beneath my weight. I moved cautiously, my light sweeping across cobweb furniture and forgotten relics of a life once lived. A child's rocking horse sat eerily still in one corner, its painted eyes faded, yet unsettlingly lifelike. Then I saw it, a wall, covered in newspapers, dozens of clippings, yellowed with age, pinned in a college of horror. MISSINGCHILDREN, dozens of names, faces frozen in time, each one connected to this very town, and beneath them, in scrawled handwriting, "They never left." A chill ran through me as I traced the words with my fingers. My mind raced. How could I have lived here my whole life and never heard of these disappearances? What had happened to these children? Then I heard a creak from upstairs. My heart slammed against my ribs. I wasn't alone. I turned off my flashlight and listened. Another creak, slow and deliberate. Someone or something was moving above me. My instincts screamed at me to run, but my body refused to move. I had to know. I forced myself toward the staircase, stepping carefully to avoid making a sound. As I reached the top, I saw it, a door at the end of the hall, slightly ajar. Something was in there. With one final breath, I pushed the door open. Inside was a small room, dust dancing in the slivers of moonlight, seeping through broken blinds. The air smelled of mildew and something metallic. But what made my blood run cold was what lay on the floor. A row of small shoes, pairs of them, neatly lined up, and scrawled on the walls in faded red letters, "Still waiting." I turned and ran, my breath coming in ragged gasps. The house seemed to shift around me, the walls closing in as the shadows twisted. I burst through the front door, not stopping until I reached my own house, locking every door and window behind me. I didn't sleep that night. The next morning, I searched the names from the newspaper clippings. Every single one was real. Children who had vanished decades ago, never found. The house was demolished a year later, but I never told anyone what I found inside, because sometimes the dark secrets near us are meant to stay hidden. What I found in that house changed the way I look at the world around me. We think we know our surroundings, but every town has places people avoid, stories that are brushed aside, shadows that never quite disappear. Maybe it's an old building, a forgotten road, or even an overgrown backyard. What stories are buried where you live? Have you ever heard of a chilling mystery in your town? A place people refuse to talk about? Let me know in the comments. I want to hear your stories. And if you love uncovering hidden horrors, don't forget to like and subscribe. You never know what secrets we might find next.